Anthropic has accidentally published their entire Claude Code source to the internet. It's 1,900 files, 512,000 lines of TypeScript, 44 hidden feature flags for capabilities that nobody even knew existed. And I went through all of it. This isn't speculation or rumors. This is what is actually in the code. It's unreleased models, autonomous agents that work while you sleep, full multi-agent coordination system, and a bunch of other things Anthropic clearly did not want public yet. Now I pulled out every insight that matters and organized it so you can actually use this information. Let's get into it. So what actually happened is when you publish a package to NPM, there's a config file that just tells it which files to include and which to actually leave out. Now Anthropic's build tool, it automatically generated source map files, which just are meant for debugging, but they contain the full original source code. So they ship the package without excluding them. Now anyone could download it, anyone could open the .map file and read every line of code that Anthropic actually wrote. And within hours, it was mirrored on GitHub as you would expect. It was converted to Python so that it couldn't be DCMA'd, and it's now trending everywhere. Now the community rewrite called Claude Code, it became the fastest repo in GitHub history to hit 30,000 stars. Not surprising, but Anthropic, they sent takedown notices and they pulled the file, but it was already archived in dozens of different places. So quick disclaimer, I'm not showing actual source code in this video, and I'd be careful about downloading it yourself. And Anthropic, they still own the copyright. Everything that I am covering, it is based on what the community found and how it actually changes the way that you should think about this tool. By the way, if you want access to all the important information as it is coming out, things like this or any other AI strategies that are actually practical to starting and growing your business, then check out our free School community and check out our free AI newsletter. Link is down below in the description. Now, most people, they think that Claude Code, it is just a chatbot in your terminal, and that's inherently wrong. What the source code actually reveals, it is a full orchestration engine. Now this is a CLI built with React and Ink and running a query engine, a tool execution loop with 66 built-in tools, a permission engine, a memory system, a task manager, a multi-agent coordinator, and an MCP client and server all wired together under one pipeline. Now the tools, they are split up in two different categories. So the concurrent tools, they handle read-only operations like any searching files or browsing code, and these can all run at the same time. So there's also serialized tools which handles mutations like file edits, bash commands, and these run just one at a time to avoid any conflicts. Now that distinction alone, it tells you that this was designed for parallel work from the ground up. Now, with that being said, if you're using Claude Code like a chatbot, just typing questions and hoping for output, you're touching maybe 10% of what is actually there. Now, one quick fun detail is that there's a file with almost 200 loading spinner messages. So most of them, they are normal, but there are entries like discombobulating, moonwalking, boondoggling. Someone at Anthropic, they got paid to actually write those, and I respect it. Now the code base, this shows roughly 85 built-in slash commands. Now most people, they know maybe 5. So this puts Claude Code into planning mode, of course. Now instead of immediately editing any files, it of course maps out the full approach first, just showing you what it wants to do, and it waits for your approval before touching anything at all. Now for anything complex, this is just going to catch any misunderstandings before they become wrong code, and it saves you tokens on any rework. Now Compact, this compresses your conversation history to the essentials, since every message, every tool result, and loaded file, it costs tokens. You can specify what to keep, like compact, but preserve everything about the API integration. And if you're burning through credits, like this is the fastest fix. Now context, this shows what files Claude Code is tracking, so you can prune any dead weight. And cost, this shows your actual session spend, which most people, they are never checking until the bill hits. Then you have review and security review. This triggers any structured code analysis workflows, and it's not any free-form requests. Then we also have resume and summary. This is letting you pick up between sessions without having to re-explain everything. Now, the other big area that people are skipping, it is permissions. You've hit this. Claude Code, it asks you to confirm every single action, and it's annoying enough that people either babysit every click or turn on full bypass, which also isn't very smart. In the code, it reveals 3 permission modes. So default asks about everything. Auto, this uses a machine learning classifier to predict what you would approve, and auto approving safe operations and only flagging genuinely risky ones. Now bypass, this skips all the checks. Auto, it is the sweet spot. Now you can also set any granular rules in your settings JSON, And with that being said, you should always allow git commands and always allow file edits in your src directory, and always ask before deleting. So if you set these up once, you're going to stop wasting time on approvals that you would never even say no to. Now, the memory system. This might be the most important part of the video. So at the center of Claude Code's memory system, it is a file called Claude.md. You guys already know this. It gets injected into every single conversation turn. So it's not just the first message, it is every turn. So you get 40,000 characters. Most people either completely ignore this file or they just dump random notes into it. Both of those approaches, they are wrong. The people getting the best results, they keep it short, they keep it opinionated and operational. They should have direct rules like TypeScript, strict mode, always, tests go next to the source file, never touch the schema without a migration, use PNPM, not NPM, decision rules, constraints, conventions. It's not a novel about your project history. Keep that in mind. Next up, memory layers. So Claude.md, it is just one layer. The code, it reveals multiple memory mechanisms at different scopes. So the session memory, this persists across a conversation and it carries forward when you actually resume. Then you have the user level memory. This captures preferences over time. Then the extracted memories, these get pulled from conversations and these are stored for later. And there are even hooks for team level memory synchronization. Now, the compaction system, it has 5 approaches. So you have the micro compaction, which clears old tool results on a timer. You have the context collapse. This summarizes any conversation spans. The session memory, this extraction pulls key facts to a file. You have the full compaction. This is summarizing your entire history. The truncation, this drops the oldest messages as a last resort. And the large tool results, these get stored to disk with only an 8 kilobyte preview sent to the model. So if you paste a massive file, Claude might only see a fraction. Now, it is worth noting that you should only use compact proactively, not when the system is actually forcing it. So when it auto compacts, you are not going to control what actually gets kept. So if you do take one thing away from this video, go update your Claude.md today. Next up is the multi-agent architecture. So this one, it caught a lot of people off guard, where the code base, it has a full multi-agent coordination subsystem already built out. So it's not hinted at, like it is built. So the source, it shows 3 execution models for the sub-agents. You have fork, where a sub-agent, it inherits the parent's context and it shares its prompt cache. And then you have a teammate, where the agent runs in a separate terminal pane and it communicates through a file-based mailbox. And you have work tree. This is where each agent gets its own isolated Git branch, so they cannot conflict. Now the sub-agents, these share the prompt caches. So spinning up 5 agents in parallel, it doesn't mean 5 times the context cost. You get concurrent work at a fraction of what you would expect. So what does this mean for you? Stop writing one massive prompt with 12 different objectives. Break any complex work into different phases. So you search, then you plan, then you execute, then you verify. So having 4 focused requests, it will outperform one sprawling instruction every single time. That is the takeaway. Then we have the MCP and extensions. So MCP, of course, Model Context Protocol. It is not bolted onto Claude Code. It is actually structural. So Claude Code, it is both an MCP client and a server simultaneously. So beyond MCP, there's actually a full skills and plugins layer. So you have the custom capabilities, you have repeatable workflows, domain-specific extensions that you build once and you use permanently. Now each connection, it is compounding. So a developer with Claude Code hooked into their issue tracker or a deployment pipeline or monitoring tools and documentation, it is operating at a completely different level than someone using it as a code editor. So you connect your tools, then you build your skills for repeating tasks, and this is where the long-term value actually is going to be living. Now this piece is where it gets wild. So the code base, it contains 44 compile time feature flags for capabilities that are not even public yet. Now, these are not concepts, like these are actual working code behind them. So first, this is Kairos. So this appeared over 150 times in the code. It's just an autonomous daemon mode that turns Claude Code from a tool that you talk to into an agent that is going to be able to run in the background 24/7. So it actually has a 15-second blocking budget for any proactive actions. It keeps append-only daily logs of everything it does, and it has exclusive tools not available in normal mode. So things like sending you files, pushing notifications to your phone, and subscribing to any GitHub workflows or webhooks so it can watch your repos and respond to changes automatically. Like this is Claude Code, running while you sleep, monitoring your projects, following up on tasks, and surfacing things that need your attention. Second is coordinator mode. So this transforms Claude into an orchestrator, just managing multiple different AI workers in parallel. So the code, it shows a 4-phase workflow where you first have research, second synthesis, third implementation, and lastly verification. Now the workers, they are communicating through XML messaging and they share a scratchpad directory. So the coordinator's own system prompt, It specifically says do not rubber stamp weak work and do not say based on your findings, read and specify exactly. So quality control is directly built into the orchestration layer. So third, we have UltraPlan. This just offloads any complex planning to a remote container, just running Opus 4.6, and it gives it up to 30 minutes to think through a problem. So your terminal, it pulls through every 3 seconds, waiting for the result. There's also a browser UI where you approve or reject the plan before it is executing anything. So this is the difference between a quick surface level answer and a plan that an AI spent half an hour reasoning through. Fourth, we have Auto Dream. So this is a background process where Claude, it is performing any memory consolidation while you are not using it. So Anthropic literally calls it dreaming in the code. So 3 conditions actually trigger it. So 24 hours since the last dream, 5 or more sessions since the last dream, and a consolidation lock acquired. So to dive into that a little bit further and elaborate, it runs 4 phases. Orient, gather recent signals, consolidate, and then prune. Now, the system prompt, it explicitly says that you are performing a dream, which is just a reflective pass over your memory files. So it has read-only access during the dream. It can look, but it cannot touch anything. So when it's done, your next session, it starts with better, more organized, more relevant context. So in theory, the more you use Claude Code, the smarter it is actually getting about you. Now, fifth, we have new models. So the code, it references Opus 4.7, Sonnet 4.8, and 2 that seem to be a new tier entirely. So there's Capybara and Mythos. Additionally, there's also Tengu, Claude Code's internal project name, and Fennec, the formal code name for Opus. And these are not hypothetical, like they're active development targets in the code. 6, we have the buddy system. So this is buried in the code, deliberately obfuscated so that leak detection scanners will not catch it. It is just a full Tamagotchi style pet companion. So there's 18 species across 5 rarity tiers. Common ones like pebble crab and dust bunny, rare ones like crystal drake, and even legendary ones like Cosmo shell and Nebulinx. Each pet, it has 5 stats. So there's debugging, patience, chaos, wisdom, and snark. So with this is actually pretty crazy. You get a personality generated by Claude when it actually hatches, and you also get a 1% shiny variant on any species, meaning that even a 0.01% chance of a shiny legendary. Now, the code, it is just showing a teaser window planned for early April with full launch in May 2026, as it looks like. Not the most relevant, but it is pretty cool and worth sharing. 7th, this is frustration detection. So there's actually a file called user prompt keywords that uses regex matching on common frustration phases. So when it detects that you're getting heated, it adjusts its behavior. So it becomes more careful, it changes its tone, it's cheaper, and it is faster than running your messages through an AI mood classifier. Now, I've definitely triggered this more times than I would like to admit, and it's actually cool seeing that this is really something in play. Now, a couple more worth mentioning. There's undercover mode. This is about 90 lines of code, so it activates automatically when the user type is Anthropic employee. Also, it strips AI attribution from commits, it removes any co-authored bylines, it blocks the model from mentioning internal code names and Slack channels or even the words Claude Code. Now the system prompt, it tells the model just do not blow your cover. So there's no force off switch, and Anthropic's own team, they have been using Claude Code on public repos without anybody knowing. So you say what you want about ethics, but it does tell you that they trust this tool on production code. Now there's also an anti-distillation system. So the flag called anti-distillation CC, it injects decoy tool definitions, any fake capabilities that don't actually exist, into API requests. So if a competitor tries to record and replicate Claude's behavior, they would also replicate the fake tools, which would break their copy. It's very a smart defensive move, honestly. Now, every competitor, they now have a complete blueprint. So the prompt engineering, the orchestration logic, the tool calling patterns, the compaction algorithms, all of it. So for any open source projects and smaller startups, like this is years of research and development just handed to them for completely free. So the baseline for what decent AI coding tools look like, it just raised overnight. And for Anthropic, it is very embarrassing, but probably not devastating for them. Now, there's also no customer data leaked, no API keys, no model weights, and their competitive advantage has always been the model themselves, not the harness. So you could take this exact code base, plug it into any weaker model, and the results, they would drop significantly. But the irony, it is pretty thick. So the company that actually brands itself as this safety first AI lab, it forgot a 1-line config exclusion. And without even being said, like with a potential IPO coming, like this isn't the headline that institutional investors want to see. In my honest take, like this probably ends up being a net positive in the long term, where the attention, it's massive, the community, they're energized, it drives more developers into the Claude ecosystem. You learn a little bit more. I'm certainly learning a lot about this, but short term, somebody at Anthropic, they're certainly having a bad week. Now, let me just bring this all together with what you should be actually changing starting today. So first, update your Claude.md. So do that right now so that it's concise, opinionated, and operational. So input your coding standards, any conventions, any hard constraints. Like this file, it shapes every single interaction, so do not mess it up. Second, configure your permissions. So you can open your setting JSON, set rules for the approvals that you'd never say to, and use auto mode for everything else. Third is to use plan before anything complex and review the approach before Claude actually starts editing. Fourth is to manage context actively. So use compact before the system forces it, context to prune dead files, cost to track your spend, and resume to carry any sessions forward. Fifth, that's just to decompose your work. Now, having 4 focus requests, it is going to be just one gigantic prompt. So you search, plan, execute, verify. Sixth, you connect your tools, your MCP servers for any external systems, skills for repeating any tasks, and every connection, it is going to be compounding. Seventh, watch for updates. Kairos, coordinator mode, auto dream, ultra plan, and new models, they are all in active development. So when they ship, like people with these workflows already dialed in, they'll be weeks ahead of you. So I put together a full written guide that breaks down every feature flag, every technical detail, and all the resource links in one place. That's going to be linked in the description inside of our free school community. But that was what was hiding inside of Claude Code's source. So this gap between, treating this as a chatbot and understanding the system underneath, it is quite literally enormous. And it's only going to grow as these new capabilities are just going to constantly roll out even more. So this gap between just treating this as a chatbot and understanding the system underneath, it is enormous, and it is only going to grow as these new capabilities are just going to be rolling out. So if you're looking for a more hands-on approach and you want direct access to me and the frameworks that I use every day, check out our paid community. Link will be down below in the description, but drop a like if you guys found this useful. Leave a comment with which features surprised you most, and subscribe for more breakdowns just like this. But I appreciate you guys making it to the end. Hopefully you got some value from this. I'll see you guys in the next video.